What's good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rory and this video is going to talk about a little thing I did. The weekend just passed, I jumped into an early show, so I went to do the Budapest Pro. Now, I wasn't due to compete for another 3 weeks until the Toronto Pro Super Show, but I felt as I've had 2 years off the stage, I needed to get a little bit of experience back and get my feet wet because it kind of dawned on me that I hadn't been on stage in such a long time and I've actually got quite a bit of new muscle tissue. And that means I might not react the same when it comes to the whole getting super lean, drying out, filling up, and just looking perfectly crisp on stage. So I thought I'd give it a quick practice run. I managed to get a little bit of content when I was in Budapest, just talking about my meals and the build up to the show, what I'm doing differently, and exactly what I was going to do to try to peak for this show. So let's get into it. What is good, guys? So today I am actually competing for the first time in just under 2 years, and it's a show I hadn't planned to do. I'm here in Budapest, Hungary, and I saw it sort of pop up on the IFBB Pro League website, and I just thought, I feel I'm ready, and I want to show that's just no pressure. So I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself for Toronto. I think it's because I announced it, everyone knew about it, and I'm getting a lot of questions on it. You know, how are you feeling? Would you know, good luck, champ. Are you going to win? It's just, it creates a lot of pressure, and it's the sort of thing where I had my confidence knocked a little bit, I guess. Just I got in my own head at that I didn't do as well as I wanted for my very first, you know, my pro debut show. And I haven't competed since, so I haven't done a show for 2 years, like I said, and I just wanted to get my feet wet. So here we are at a no pressure show because no one knows I'm here, apart from, of course, the promoters. You may have seen it on my Instagram because the IFBB do want me to promote the show a little bit, so I've been a bit subtle with my promotions, but at the same time, it's very obvious what I'm doing here in Budapest. So I thought I'd do a little vlog, just let you guys know what I'm doing the day before the show, the day of the show, getting here, traveling, you know, with food, with liquids, everything like that. So this is pretty much what this video is all about. So first off, this is the apartment. Always have service apartments. You need a kitchen when you compete. You can't get away with hotels, unfortunately. This is a pretty nice one, but being in Budapest, you know, it's very noisy outside, so sleep's been a little bit funny. I should have brought some earplugs and a face mask or something like that because the street light shining through the window is pretty brutal as well. But nonetheless, can't complain. It is quite a nice service apartment for downtown Budapest. Now, food is the hardest thing to get right when traveling internationally because everything's in a different language, or most of the time, if you go to Europe, it's probably not going to be in your native tongue because every country, of course, in Europe has its own language pretty much. So translating things can be a bit tough. I would say just stick to basics. So I'm literally living off chicken, rice, cashews, honey, bananas, and salt and water. Those are my only 3 things I've consumed since we landed here on Friday. I'm going to list my meals on the screen just because I can't recite them. My brain's a little bit too foggy right now. Plus, even though the meals are super basic and pretty much the exact same every time, I've actually been carb loading since Wednesday. So the Wednesday, Thursday macros I'll chuck on the screen now. Pretty much the same foods as you'll see. Really simple, basic, you know, chicken, rice, turkey, either cream of rice, maybe protein isolate. Really basic stuff. Just anything that's easy to digest. Not going to cause any stomach issues. Nothing fancy. And it's actually when you'll notice the vegetables come down a bit because you just don't want the extra volume in your stomach. So I had 4 meals with me on Friday that I either ate in the airport or on the plane. I actually managed to have one when we touched down here before I went shopping to get some food. And then the last 2 meals were the foods that I bought here in Budapest. I was able to bring food with me. Not sure if you saw on my Instagram, but I was carrying everything in Ziploc bags to fit it in my hand luggage. Otherwise, I couldn't fit all my Tupperware in my carry-on luggage. So everything was in Ziploc bags. A lot of funny stares, but I don't care. It is what it is. You know, I get a lot of worse stares going back home when my fake tan is kind of half washed off and I'm looking haggard and patchy. So I'm used to it by now. You know, people can stare. It's a part of being a bodybuilder, I guess. These are the exact meals I had yesterday. Now, I don't know all of my meals for today because we're kind of going meal by meal basis, but essentially it's going to just be the exact same meals. It's going to be chicken, rice, cashew. The measurements are going to change a little bit as we get closer to the show. I'm actually getting quite full in terms of my muscles are filling with glycogen. So that's the look we're trying to do when we carb load. We're trying to fill the muscles with glycogen to get a bigger look, and it actually stretches the skin so you get even tighter. It makes you look even leaner when your muscles are full. So carb loading since Wednesday means by today, Sunday, I am pretty full. And by full, I mean not my stomach, my muscle bellies are full with glycogen. So we're going to taper off the carbs going forward. Now I'm pretty much there. I'm at my limit before I start spilling over. And when your carbs spill over, when your muscle glycogen is full, it's actually going to just stay in the bloodstream, or you may start pushing it into your intracellular fluid. And again, the water's going to follow. So you're going to get a bit of a watery look if you have too many carbs before show day. So there's a fine line. I'm pretty much there now. I'm feeling good. So we're going to start reducing the carbs, if not stopping the carbs, and just go with some fats and proteins to keep me energized, to keep the muscles tied over until showtime. But the plan for the rest of the day is to get some sleep. So I'm going to get some sleep. I'm going to go down for a nap now, keep the stress super, super low, and let the food do its magic. I will check in with you again before the show. I'll catch you guys then. Okay guys, in the taxi now on the way to the venue to get my second layer of tan. Don't know if you can see, I had my first base layer on, and now we're going to get the second layer on, and we're going to do a little quick round of posing to see where we're at. But I actually didn't have carbs in my last meal because I feel like I'm pretty full, so it's looking good, feeling confident, starting to dry out now. Things are getting nice and dry. So next update will be post-tan. That's all the content I managed to film in Budapest, so I'm going to give you the rest of the story back here in the UK from my studio. So after I got my last layer of tan, I did some check-in photos with my coach, and he thought I looked full enough and was worried that I was going to get watery if I pushed it any further. However, we were still 5 hours away from stepping on stage, so I had to kind of just maintain that exact look for 5 hours and then pump up and get on stage, which meant me pretty much cut off all food and all water. I just had a couple squares of dark chocolate just to keep my body ticking over, and 200 mils of water in those 5 hours. Now, my body could not hold on to that look. It did start regressing quite quickly after I feel that we kind of peaked at that moment. So what happened was I slowly started getting smaller and flatter, and all the water started spilling into my skin. So I got a watery and small flat look, which of course is a terrible combination. And I didn't do too well, but lessons were learnt. I ended up coming 5th out of 5 competitors. So I came dead fucking last, which is a hell of a punch to the gut. I've never come last in any competition I've ever done, so this is a first for me, and yeah, it fucking sucks. The show was 3 weeks earlier than we intended to step on stage. I actually thought I was ready, but when I stood next to the rest of the boys, it was evident that I was not ready. I wasn't conditioned enough, I wasn't lean enough, and that is why I had a little bit of a watery look on stage still, because there was a little bit of fat in the skin, and that just started to spill when the carbs sort of just came out of the muscle and into the skin. So we found out a few things. That 1, I need to be much leaner going into the Toronto show. And 2, I don't think this 4-5 day carb up leading into the show actually worked well for me. I think it'll be much better, and this is what I want to test in Toronto, if I stay fairly low carb and then load up the day before and then on the day. And then I think I'll be able to hold that look much better if I'm slowly eating my carbs on show day, but nothing crazy that my stomach's gonna blow out, you know, so it's gonna have to be high carb foods, but potentially sugars actually might be the key. That I'm gonna play with a little bit leading up to the show, but like I said, lessons were learnt, and unfortunately, it was a little bit of a humiliating lesson as well, being last in a show. isn't the funnest thing to do. Nonetheless, no fucking regrets, guys. That was necessary to happen, so now I know what I'm supposed to do going into Toronto. And now I'm motivated more than ever to get on that stage fucking shredded out of my mind, which I'll be able to accomplish within the next 3 weeks. So the suffering has only just begun because we need to up this shit another level. So guys, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on the next 3 weeks of content of me leading up to the Toronto Pro Show and how I do in my next big show. Always appreciate a like and a comment on what educational topic I should do next, as well as my competing updates. I will catch you guys in the next video.